Hello, hello, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Submitted for Your Approval, our weekly card review show for the collective community card game, where you can make the cards. We are joined today, as always, by my faithful co-host, Grief.
Howdy, folks.
Our regular panelist, Empty Folder, does not have a webcam today, but he is joining us as well.
Hello, everyone.
And today we have a special guest. Vmnunes is the Realm admin for Mir'aj and long-term alpha player. So welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Have you actually seen the show before?
I have seen it like once, not like once, like very few times. I just like a long time ago.
Once
I think I saw the first few episodes, but then it was at the time I was like kind of taking a break from collective for a bit.
Yeah, I know you were kind of taking a break, and I'm glad to see that you're back. So anyways, I wanted to jump straight into it. And of course, we could not go the week without talking about this card. Remasterer Damante is a 13-mana neutral 5/9 bard from nowhere in particular. With Summon, this plays its album record. What is its album record? Whenever you play a different unit with a summon, add its summon to the album wherever this is. So a lot of people have mentioned that this effect already exists in Hearthstone in the form of Shutterwalk. Or it's basically that effect, although it's a little minute differences here and there. This is at the very, very cap of our mana curve at 13. An Empty Folder pointed out in his card review, and I think this was probably the thing to talk about with this, is a lot of the summons that are already in this game are going to, especially at the higher end, which is supposedly why you're running this, are going to win you the game very swiftly. So is this a win more card? Since Empty's talked about it on his thing, I wanted to ask Grief first.
Sounds like a win more card. Is it a win con? Depends on how it interacts with certain keywords. I think it basically doubles it doubles certain summons as well. Depends on the interaction. I didn't really care much about that card, I have to be honest. Saw it in a card lab, didn't even play tested it, wasn't that too much interested in it. I like the card idea and it's a new build around, but overall,
Yeah, it's hard. Like, you can maybe do like Aragos summon soup, just get a bunch of different unique units. I don't know quite what to do with this, but I think you should win the game before you get a chance to play this. So, Empty, you have anything else beyond what you already said in your review?
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting to talk about like how close can cards in collective get to cards from other card games without it being too close. And I think this sort of walks right up to the line, if not crosses it a little bit, since Shutterwalk is a pretty iconic effect from Hearthstone. And most people who've seen Shutterwalk will absolutely think of it when they see this. So, I don't know. Yeah, it is definitely an interesting build around, though. I think if you can get it to make it so that this effect is like worthwhile with other smaller summons you've played throughout the game, rather than like already having played these big game-ending effects and then have this on top of it, I could see some interesting decks. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is going to be very fun. I don't know if it's going to be viable, but this is just one of those fun things you can do with collective.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing this in like maybe a Highlander Summons Matter deck would be fun with Aragos. There's probably other ways to do it.
Well, this doesn't work very well with Aragos because it doesn't copy the number on the counter, so it'll be 0.
Jeez, man. Yeah, that's some of the engine limitations in this game. Just kind of come back and bite you.
Does Legion make it copy itself?
Yes.
Wait,
well, at least that's
does it create a new Legion we've played with this, or is it going to create like a lot of Damantes?
It's going to create a lot of remasters. Yeah,
that's going to be interesting.
And it's funny because at 13, if you could get a Legion off, you now actually have a fairly decent Legion at 13. So it's interesting.
Put it into your Marie decks and be somewhat happy.
Yeah, Marie likes this. I mean, that's probably the obvious use case. So yeah. Okie dokie then. At Peace. I have no idea what to think of this. It's nice art from Cornmeal. At Peace is a 1-drop spirit action from nowhere in particular. Banish a card in target player's graveyard. Gain HP equal to its cost. So...
Graveyard hate for, I don't know, is Nightmare Engine still a thing?
Yeah, so you could do maybe some point graveyard hate for running against Marie. If you're running Marie or Bullock, you can use this to get maybe a good bad card out of there to improve your random graveyard effects or your top of graveyard effects. Grease wringing his hands. What's your thought on this?
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Revenant at Arms? Neon Phoenix.
Oh yeah, this is really good against Revenant.
Any other self-casting bullshit that comes out of our graveyards, any other setup cards that you want to pitch there or get rid of, something that you, self-discard. Made me discard my own box. I discard my own box cards or multiple copies when I play them. Now let me just get 13 HP. Oh yeah, I want to reorder my graveyard for certain stuff with Marie, so I can get rid of that, and so on and so forth. But yeah, you have answers that heal you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I really see this maybe throwing away one of your high-end things that got discarded or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be more used for the heal than for the actual banishing part.
Also, this gets rid of wilting memories and the wilting memories loop.
Yeah.
Because it can also hit actions, which we shouldn't forget with stuff like Amnesia Mage, the other 4-cost rebound card that gets recollect, also time upon time, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I guess another good thing is obviously you can make your Pomegranate into something scary. That's fun. Empty, you have any other thoughts on this?
I think the main issue with a card like this is that Journey of the Dead is going to do its job better in most scenarios. Again, like if you're using this against like aggro Bula, you're usually not going to be getting very much life since like they're not running anything that costs more than like 5. So yeah, you can hit Revenants with it, but if you're running Journey, the downside is a lot less on Journey if you end up against a control deck, because against them, life isn't going to matter. But like getting one of their bombs back could like really help you out. So I don't know. I think it may not be as effective as Journey in most scenarios.
I think, comparing it to Journey, I think you're going to be wanting to use both sides of the effect. Like if you need to gain, you want to ideally have something to do with this HP gain, like a Pomegranate or something.
Plants would like this probably more than Journey of the Dead.
Yes,
because plants care about life gain.
Yeah, plants would like this more than Journey. I agree, but it's kind of just an alternative, basically. Like it's not a strictly better, not strictly worse. Nunez, you got any more thoughts?
I don't think so. I think the comparison with Journey is very good. Journey is probably going to be way better against Bullock because not only you get rid of all of his stuff, if I remember how Journey works, I don't remember the card text exactly, but you also get the cards in your graveyard, so you steal his Revenants. So it's going to be kind of a matchup thing for plants. That's a very good point. Plants are really going to want the HP gain for all of their huge amounts of synergy.
Yeah.
But outside of plants, I don't think the card is going to be that great.
Yeah. So we'll see what place this ends up having and things. Loudmouth. I love the flavor on this one. Kind of feel weird about the rest of the card. Loudmouth is a 1-drop strength 2/1 goblin from Genesis with enemy duelist abilities can only target Loudmouth.
Okay, first of all, how does this actually work, engine-wise? I looked at this card and I was like, how does this work?
There's a way to throw... It was actually worked out a long time ago. Cannibals had a design for it that did something very similar. And when Kramath was asking around the Discord, there was just, hey, we already figured this out, actually.
This is really interesting.
It is really interesting. I mean, if you're going to make something that is cheap, easy to remove, and deals with duelist, I want it to deal with duelist units in a more permanent way. And so I don't think this is going to help a lot because, I mean, ideally, if you're running a lot of duelist units, you have another duelist unit. And this might not even kill the duelist unit.
Yeah, like, it sort of feels like Taunt from Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But, like, this stat line, the 2-1, really doesn't help what it wants to do. If it was on like a big unit, like a fat unit, it would probably be much stronger to protect your vulnerable stuff. But I don't know if this is gonna see a lot of play.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure. MP, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Vmnunes. So like, it's such a cool effect, and I really like this for like decks that play a lot of units that are vulnerable to duelists. I just wish it had a better stat line, like a 3-mana 3/4 or something, so that I could actually live through more than one duel and like stop up what your opponent's doing.
This is fun tech for Fusion Project.
It is.
I mean, yes, but like
Can't be dueled sounds great to me. For one, get a 2/1 on it. I don't know. Grief, what do you think of it?
I mean, it sounds like a tech card, basically, for tournaments, and outside of that, you're using it probably for some quirky, janky-ass way to protect combos that are usually only vulnerable to dueling. So you can play this first. My personal gripe is this card actually needs fast. To basically play into it better, since you're dropping it, it probably dies to a hard removal or some weird ping, or to a duelist that just survives dueling it. My opinion is it usually needs, when you have this low of a stat line, at least 3 attack to kill most duelists. But outside of that, yeah, you're playing this first. Maybe it survives. Now you're playing your actual card that you don't want to be removed. Maybe you can play it with Glitzmelon together in KM.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. It's a pretty decent, maybe protective mutant maker thing, or beyond that, yeah, you're right. It's just it's tournament tech.
You can grab it off of Ibon.
Yeah.
Speaking of protective effects, like
Yes.
The Shimmermist Serpent is a 4-drop mind 3/4 serpent, nowhere in particular, and I love this bright and shiny art. I know everyone else wants to wash it back out, but I like this version. Whenever an enemy unit targets a friendly unit, its controller pays 2 mana if they can't counter that action. I'll let Empty start on this, actually.
I think this has like the exact same problem as Loudmouth, is that it's like too understated to really be worth playing most of the time. And like, yes, it does protect decently against actions. Like 2 extra mana is kind of a pain for your opponent to be paying all the time, but it's pretty easy to remove, and that's like only one type of removal. Like, it doesn't do anything against duelists, it doesn't do anything against any kind of AoE or choose stuff like Repelling Amulet doesn't do anything against that. So I think it just has a bit too many weaknesses.
My issue with this is the Frost Armor effect from Magic works really, really well in a physical card game and really, really badly in a digital card game. So, like, for a lot of people who aren't bothering to read, this is just going to be a bunch of feels bads and confusing about, oh, wait, I didn't realize that I can still target it. It's not untargetable or ward. But, oh, no, my action got countered because I didn't leave the 2 mana open. And so I just feel like this is a lot of text for not a lot of interesting. And the fact that it's the only thing the unit does, just, I don't know. It just kind of sours it for me. When you're playing kitchen table Magic, having an effect like Frost Armor is fun. I just don't like these effects in online card games. Nunes, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think you and Empty said everything. Like, the effect is interesting, but it does have the issues with you don't notice the effect and you end up getting countered because you didn't read it. It's also quite easy to remove with Duelist and Choose stuff, just general non-targeting removal because we're Yu-Gi-Oh now apparently.
Mm.
It seems interesting. I don't know if it's gonna see a lot of play. I guess if there is like a meta deck that uses a lot of targeted action removal, I don't know, Vrictic or something, it's probably might see some tournament play like as a tech choice.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's going to be like one of those tech cards that you don't really see a lot in Ladder.
Yeah. One complaint, and I'm pretty sure Grief's going to say this, so I'm going to steal it from him. This should be a fish dragon. We got
this should be a fish dragon.
We got a dragon thingy in the art. This was for dragons. This should be a fish dragon, right?
Do you know who actually proposed that this shouldn't be a fish dragon?
Tahazar.
Exactly.
Why did I imagine that?
The problem is that was the only reason why I downvoted the card. I love the card overall, but I hated that it is even why is that actually important to me? Because for some reason the actual fish dragon tribal in Legacy is the only real dragon deck that is semi-consistent and cohesive in nature as a tribal deck for some reason.
And it's the only deck that needs this, right? Like, we don't have a lot of decks that need this kind of tool besides the 3/4 body for 4, right?
This was so painful, but yeah, besides that, I could actually see it being probably pretty useful. If you want to make it more powerful, you could actually go with all friendly characters or allies with the new rewording revision, so it would also be protection for yourself, which would be pretty interesting. I don't know if Choose is counted by that.
Yeah, it does. Choose, yeah.
Yeah, if I remember how the engine works, Choose just ignores this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, if it was maybe you and this would have been a little bit better, or I think friendly units in this is probably a bit too much, but maybe protecting your face as well could have made this into an interesting card. But as so, I don't know what role this has. I do like the art, and I do like the idea, but I guess, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I feel iffy about it. We could have at least fixed that type line, and maybe it will.
Cosmetic update, change it to Fish Dragon back again, so the deck has actually more useful tools.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's get into the actual Reddit cards. Starting with what appears like it's going to be our rare for the week.
Another Intero plant. We had that topic today.
Spire is a 5-drop spirit 5/3 plant from Intera. Ambush, summon, you gain 5 HP. Entomb, deal damage equal to the amount healed this turn to opponent. So, Dad is losing the plant deck, and the plant deck now belongs to Marie. Because we now have this thing, which is an absolutely insane finisher for somebody who has the ability to both double summons and double entombs and proc entombs again from the graveyard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am not familiar with the new hero, but that seems nasty.
So yeah, once she gets, she's a control hero, and when she gets her finisher, this says summon, you gain 10 HP, and then entomb, deal damage equal to the amount healed this turn to opponent twice. So that's just the end of the game, right there.
Yeah, basically entomb, deal 20. Yeah.
If you can get it together. So, and even if they survive that, there's a 40 HP swing.
Yeah.
Well, 30 HP swing.
30, yeah.
Yeah. So this is insane. This definitely gives Dat, this is a nail in the coffin for Dat. This is, now the plant stack also belongs to Marie. Or that's my thoughts on it. Grief, what's your thoughts on it?
I wouldn't call it that Marie's taking over plants, considering how mediocre Dad and Marie currently aren't in regards to getting there. But Marie actually has more tools for this card, especially with her level 1, which has which its only purpose is to actually get to level 2. So you can probably play around with more life gain synergies or ways to enable it. The problem is though, the Entomb only counts for that turn.
Yeah, and that's the tricky part.
So you actually have to work, quote unquote, work towards that to get more HP out of it. Sure, in Marie, it's probably easier to set up with that specific card, but you don't really need a dedicated plant deck around that, but more life gain deck, which happens to have a lot of plants usually. But it's more bomb grenade, monitor, the new banish card. Which helps you also to gain specific amounts of HP now to either set up the graveyard for this thing or to remove answers and so on and so forth. So there is probably needed a little application out of it. And the most important thing is it's an ambusher.
Yeah.
So in maybe 80% of cases, you can get 5 damage through.
You can get 5 damage while healing up 5 HP.
So we do have Spider that forces attacks as well, so there's that.
Yeah. That I finally got in the game. I saw it when I logged in today. I got like a huge list of spam messages from like Yard got in the game or was like top card in the week because I had logged in to collect for like 6 months or something. No, not 6 months, but like since the end of last season, pretty much.
Privileges of doing art.
MT, you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's interesting for like moving making a Marie plant deck, since plants have very few summons. Like obviously this does synergize quite well with Marie, and Marie's level 2 also synergizes very well with plants because you have the 3 HP and it gives your plants more HP, so you can like buff up your pumpkins and make them harder to remove. The problem is that once you hit level 3, there's very few plant synergy cards that actually work with it. I guess you could do like something neat with Grow Vernal. Yeah, I think if there's a few more summons and like entombs for plants, that could be a really neat deck for Marie.
And so yeah, we'll see if this can do more to make, well, I guess maybe like you said, Grief and life gain deck or plants more viable. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have a little pet project that I was advertising on the Reddit. We have a new realm, and everyone's free to join and make cards for it now, called Blackrift. And Blackrift is the scouting and cards that didn't start in your deck realm. So it wants to pull things from all over, a bunch of tokens, a bunch of scouted cards, and build up a very versatile but improvised deck on the spot. It's the drafting deck, basically. So the Portal Pie was a design from Zinker I really liked, and the Apper art was really cool. Portal Pie is a 2-drop neutral food from Blackrift with feed scout a unit of the same tribe as the fed unit. So this gives us some cool options in tunes. Actually, Nunes, you might like this because this.
Yes, I do like
Walkers. Was my first thought.
I do like this. Also, fish.
Fish, yeah, fish like this. Dune walkers like this.
Oh, hey, both tribes that I've worked on for quite a while.
Yeah.
I like this card a lot. I just think that for a feed effect that does not do any actual impact, 2 mana seems kind of, I don't know.
It might be a little steep.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't know how to judge this because like it doesn't actually do anything, and you want a lot of mana because you want to just spam units on that turn.
Yeah, and so you got to be careful about that. The thing is, it does generate a lot of potential card advantage.
Yeah, it does give you.
It has to be balanced against
a huge amount of card advantage, but
yeah,
the game has to be like pretty like mid-late game for you to have enough mana to actually just get that huge amount of card advantage.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be a good way to after they've cleared your board, you're like playing fish or something. they AoE your board. You have this and one fish card, and if you get lucky, you just keep spamming fish onto the board.
Yeah,
That could
because
be
fish
really
have a lot of
interesting.
really cheap stuff. So, the other thought I had for this is, and this is a little dicey because the card pool for this is a lot bigger, but maybe undead. Just getting a lot of like swarm kind of tactics.
That could be nice. Plants could be nice too.
Planes could also be nice. Grief, what's your thoughts on this?
I probably want to hear Empty's thoughts on that first because I'm a little bit iffy on this card.
Empty, what's your thoughts on this?
There's a tribe you're forgetting about. Humans. So here's how this card will play out. Very likely. Turn 1, you play Feed the Bell and get 2 human beggars in your hand. Then turn 3, you play Yamato Omamori, and then you play this, and then you chain 1-cost humans until you fill up your board. Because there are a lot of them. Like you have Neon King, you have Chip Burglar, there's the fish, there's the ward guy, Tinfoil Truther.
Do they actually have the human tribe now?
Yes.
Yeah, we have
Yamato
a lot of them.
Omamori is not going to
that's
apply
nice.
to the scouted units though, so they'll be cheap but not free.
Cards in hand.
It just got updated.
Hmm.
According
Also-
to the wording, it says reduce the cost of all cards with that tribal type. I'm assuming it's applied as a static effect, although I don't know for sure how it's blocked.
I
But,
think
like-
it's just a one and done, but we'll see.
We will see. But honestly, even without that, just waiting a little bit longer, like there's the human synergy is very real on this card, especially since Ring the Bell is a thing, so you can just get 2 for free.
Yeah, Ring the Bell is definitely a fun little trick for this. Along with all the other like if we get more Hope's Hollow into this, Human's definitely going to be a big one, and in neutral too. So, Grief.
Another good tribal that you've been forgetting. How's that Hiko list looking like? Oh yeah, sure. How large is the pool for aliens, by the way?
Yeah, I guess aliens have a couple, but you could risk.
No, the thing is with aliens, you're probably getting more of the keyword granting or keyword support cards. So sure, you can get multiple copies of Hiko. You get multiple copies of the new Cannoneer that wipes the board based on the amount of keywords you're getting, which in a free deck is pretty large, technically. Yeah. You have the human synergies, you have basically any good tool for aggro archetypes. This is pretty busted since you're not running out of cards usually. In addition to that, we don't have drafting in general. So while you are basically generating more free card advantage, your opponent has to basically answer everything like that.
Oh, so another thing with aliens is there's the Hydraxi Grunt cards that gives you 3 1-drop aliens.
Yeah.
Because it searches only by tribes. So tribal actions. And I scout a unit, okay.
No. So when you play the 3 grunts, you'll scout 3 more aliens to replace them.
That's true.
And so this can get kind of nuts. We'll see. I don't know. I thought it was one of the better designs for this.
It's pretty busted. Sure, you like it.
It's very strong.
I'm mostly single player, so I evaluate things differently, I guess.
Oh, but again, I don't really care about balance anymore.
I don't know. Make more aliens, and then it'll actually get worse.
I doubt it, but yeah, okay.
The Memory Lapse is a 2-drop mind action from Mortstall, the Dead Things realm. With return target unit to hand, increase its cost permanently by 1. This makes me sad, because I like bounce cards being lenticular. I like to be able to do it on my stuff and my opponent's stuff. But a lot of people want to do these designs that are just one or the other. But I also don't know if this really has a place against other stuff we already have. Fade Away, Tractor Beam. Do we need another effect like this? Is that where we're at, or what?
I guess this is good against like Neon King combo, if that's still a thing.
Oh, it is.
It's getting killed this week, most likely.
Hopefully.
Probably.
I don't want it to go away.
I also don't. I want it to be faster or more answerable, not outright deleted. But
yeah,
Pierre is getting X, King is getting X. only 5 people are playing, well.
Yeah, I think combo, I don't know, it needs to be able to breathe, and I don't think it's currently able to breathe. And that's why I don't know what role this card's supposed to play. So is there something I'm missing?
It's just tempo disruption, pretty solid tempo disruption that I personally am fine with, since similar cards like that want to be tempo disruption are either the Tractor Beam or the the snack thingy that reduces cost. And historically, it has been pretty bad when it's used against your opponents, since most of the cards that you want to return back to the hand usually have summons. So just them being played pretty cheaply again is also a detriment to you. So increasing their cost by 1 can be quite good, since it's a pretty nifty tempo loss for them.
Yeah, because we also have Unsummon, which actually does that and deals with the summons. So, I don't know. Nunez, you have any thoughts on this?
Outside of like the very specific case of dealing with something like King Combo, it's a good card. I guess like it's okay. There are a lot of bounce cards from what I remember, like Unsummon, Fade Away. There were more, but I don't remember their names now. This, I guess it's more options. You might want this instead of Unsummon, so you can use this on other turns instead of the turn they play the card. I'd say it's just okay, an okay card.
Yeah. MT, what are your thoughts? Or you have anything else, or you want us to move on?
Not really.
Okay. Yeah, let's just push on through. So, on to Grief's picks, I think.
Yep.
Starting with the Soul Cycle. Soul Cycle is a 2-drop spirit exclusive from nowhere in particular. It's an action. Discard up to 3 cards, draw that many cards. Why is this exclusive? Grief, is this exclusive?
Technically, this is a power-crept version of stuff like memory drain and so on and so forth. Sure, you can put it into mind as well. It would cost 2, and you would be bound to discard a certain amount of cards. Why is this a power-crept version? Because you have full control over the amounts of cards you want to discard first. In addition to that, oh no, shit. I completely had the wrong version in mind. Because the old version of that actually discarded first with not up to, and then drew you a fixed amount of cards. This is fine. It gives you pretty much best synergies for self-discard decks, which are primarily in Spirit.
Yeah. See, the thing that really confuses me about this is it's Spirit exclusive. Usually we use exclusive to lock it out of affinities where it could be a problem. The only affinity where this is a problem potentially is Spirit.
You do forget that this would be playable in KM if it's not exclusive.
Yeah,
What's KM
it would be
doing
very
with
good in
this?
KM.
Exclusivity is basically a limiter on what KM can use, and just getting rid of your draft shaft that you're basically piling on each level, which is quite easy in KM to this day. You're just discarding 2 or 3 trash cards and getting actual 2 to 3 cards.
Well,
and as the PvE player here, you should know that.
well, yeah, but I think it's fine to let KM needs tools like that, I guess, but maybe that's too good. Okay.
I mean, I feel like this is too good for Spirit. Like, it would be amazingly good for KM, but I feel like this is really good for Spirit right now.
Yeah, like for Marie. Like,
oh yeah, she does graveyard things. Yeah, like this is kind of
Spirit heroes in general could need this actually, because Spirit has pretty crappy card draw.
Yeah,
yeah, like no, even for like undead, you start your hand with like Soul Cycle and 3 Undying Brutes. You have 3 cards and 3 Brutes in your graveyard now.
So I don't know.
By the way, you don't really want that thing in mind, since you would give Neon's more access to Neon Phoenix, which is already kind of ridiculous.
Okay. So maybe there is some stuff that we need to keep it away from. I don't know enough of the meta, I guess, to say that. I just thought that the best shenanigans it can already pull. Empty, did you?
I agree that it should be Spirit exclusive. I think I kind of like the idea of having more exclusive cards and not less, as it helps make the affinities feel really different from each other. I see you shaking your head there, but yeah, I really like this for like Bullock and Marie and Spectres. Like, it's an interesting support card that like actually helps those decks be a thing.
Okay. So, time for the really, really pretty Franktastico card for the week. Phymelia the Protector is a 7-drop spirit 2/3 demigod nymph from nowhere in particular with some stunning art. Rebound. Entomb, create 2 shapeshifter spirits. All your plants, insects, spiders, frogs, and specters in play have life bond, regenerate, deadly, and leap. So the idea is here we got, and it creates a shapeshifter spirit, which is a specter, plant, insect, spider, frog. That's a mouthful. I don't know why the token's exclusive. That's a little bit of a whoops. But yeah. Grief, I want to know what you had in mind when you picked this card, because that will, I think, shape the direction of the commentary to follow.
You know, I also pick cards when it comes to design directions, not going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. That's why I wanted you to speak first. It's pretty.
We're giving feedback here as well. So,
yeah.
Nymph is a beautiful card, like basically all Franktastico card arts are. With a card that has a lot of card text that's already bleeding into the border, that all amounts to one thing in specific. Do absolutely nothing. This has Rebound as a 7-cost unit that is a 2/3, basically does nothing when it's not dying. The tokens are, for weird reasons, exclusive, are only 2/2s, and they're gaining a stack of keywords that only matter when that unit is on has died. Give all other tribes listed on this card have variations of those mechanics, except for specters, basically, but who cares? Would be funny if they actually gain rebound off of that. But then the shapeshifter spirit is also quite decent. Why is it a tribal dump when it comes to tribes, when they cannot stack their keywords? Just give it one, like specters. Call them forest spirits or stuff like that. All in all, really neat design in its core concept, but why would you ever want to play this card that does not even synergize with its own tribes because it's a demigod nymph?
Yeah, I think, well, and maybe you could say having something that, like that, it gives it to a bunch of stuff. It's a tribal lord, maybe it could back up. But like, it being a 7-drop with an Entomb, and then this rebound, I think it's just pulling in too many different directions. This is just, it's beautiful. It's interesting. There's some direction here. It just needs to be card lab. Like, that's the only thing this is missing, is it needs to be card lab. Because it's pulling in a lot of different directions. But I see how it was maybe designed to be a general tribal filler. And then we could, I don't know, see where it goes from there. Empty, you have anything about this?
Well, I think the second part where it gives like the life bond, regenerate, and leap, that's like a passive thing, right?
I think it's on in the Entomb.
No. It's a passive, if I remember correctly how that conversation went.
Oh,
yeah, that's a passive.
It is.
It's
because it says all
line
your
because of the
etc. in
card
play have, so it's a passive.
Now you understand why I'm even more frustrated.
Yeah. It should be on a different line from the Entomb. Like, it's causing a lot of confusion. But okay, I just think it's such like a mess of different tribes and effects that, like, half of the card text is just listing tribes and keywords.
Yeah.
It's a mess to look at. The card art is great, but the text is just so confusing to look at. And also, I did not realize that it's a passive because it's on the same line as the Entomb. And yeah, so you want it as a tribal lord, but it's very expensive. Also has no protection outside of the rebound, and the stat line is just terrible for its cost.
Yeah.
And the creating of these spirits on the Entomb is almost irrelevant, I feel.
Yeah, and I suggest it has a blank summon or something.
Yeah, it does have a blank summon for. I guess it's for like some visual effect when it enters the board. I guess
It's probably for the unchecked box, because if you're not checking, if you have the summon box still checked, it will list the summon in the card.
But yeah, I think this could get reworked into something that's really brilliant.
Definitely.
Yes.
A good core concept, lacking in execution.
Yeah. And that's okay. Frank Tassico's new. He's doing really great at the art and coming up with these interesting new ideas.
I do really like the idea of like this multi-tribe support card. I think to like clean up the text a bit, you could actually add the tribes to the card itself, and then say,
shares with or something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like multi-tribe lord would be really interesting. Just focus on that part. Like I feel it's, as you said, it's trying to do a lot of things, and it doesn't do anything well.
Yeah. Okay. The Energy Syphoner is a 3-drop strength 0/4 Spectre Elemental from Mortstall, Realm of the Dead Things. When a friendly unit dies, ready this, and active deal 1 damage to an enemy unit. So this is
it's power creeping gifted telepath.
Get out.
There's actually, interestingly enough, Kalehound in an active parallel design designed a goblin that was similar to this, called Will of the Wimps, that was proccing off of action plays. And this is proccing off of death. And both had the whole ready this and sorry guys. Whoop. The ready this and the deal 1 damage thing. So that's cool. This is kind of hard to get a lot of value out of. That's what I feel about this. Empty, what do you think about this?
It's interesting. Like, I definitely like that there's more self-sack support being introduced, because I really like that deck. I think it's pretty decent. Like, getting a few pings off every turn can be pretty good. Although, like, you have to have the units die out of combat for it to actually, like, do anything.
And that's kind of an issue with it, I think. I guess without that, it would just be another dancer, basically. Mini dancer. Tiny dancer. Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Okay. I don't know. Nunes, you got anything?
I don't know either. Like, sure, it can be good if the stars align and you just start pinging down everything and killing your own stuff and getting there in tombs or something, but I feel most of the time it's going to be just a gifted telepath.
Yeah.
It is very good at...
We all know about that card.
Sorry, it is very good at popping your own glowstones.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It doesn't work with friendly
units. It's an enemy unit. Oh my god.
Enemy units only.
Yeah.
Ugh. That makes me a bit less excited about it.
It just doesn't. It doesn't do the thing you need it to do, which is the bad thing. Grief, what are your thoughts? You're the expert at the red.
Combo jank, I know. The thing is, though, this is less of a gifted telepath than a weird way of combining a dancer with an archer. Since anyways you can actually combo multiple deaths, dying units, you can put it into a self-sec deck, put that combo in, like basically the Pancat combo was before, which is I think getting killed with a change to combo meals. So you cannot just ping their board or their face, but get rid of their entire board. Not just ping their face, but get rid of the entire board, while also basically readying it for multiple combat actions. In addition to that, if you find a way to multi-stack different units that could die with specific versions of maybe a kingdom, which has been long forgotten in our standard collection but still exists, can kill off most of your units and trigger off those effects, especially when they have rebounded stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it has potential and a pretty high ceiling as well. If that potential can be unlocked when it could get into the game or would come into next or upcoming rotation is another thing, but it's not a card you should sleep on.
Yeah, I just think it doesn't have the stuff around it. It needs to be relevant.
Bring back Lost Online.
Also, I think it's harder to make synergy than with Dancer because if a lot of your units die at once, Dancer still triggers for all of them.
Yeah.
In this case, you just get one trigger because
exactly.
it registers itself instead of like just activating.
Yeah. Okay. The Electric Shooter. These designs confound me. The Electric Shooter is a 3-drop mine 2/4 fish pirate from Osagarth with active, pay 2 ammo, deal 1 damage to all other units. Okay, wow, I didn't read that. And ammo 4.
Okay, first of all, is there any way another card that's in the game that gives ammo to other cards?
Yes.
They're making designs like that.
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say, why did you make it 2 ammo and pay 2 ammo with 4 ammo instead of just like pay 1 ammo and 2 ammo? That triggers my OCG. Like,
yeah, and so the part that puts me a little off on this is, and this is just a side effect of the text crunch. It's kind of hard to follow how exactly this works. From my understanding, it resets this ammo counter as a static thing every time you play it. But I don't know if that's right. So
I imagine it does. Yeah.
Dig around into the blocks and figure out exactly how it works.
No, the ammo count is set already. It's an external basically, or global key. It's a global thing that each and every Osagarth fish pirate actually has. So it's basically like a counter system. So when you pay the active, you reduce your counters by 2. In this case, it starts with 4, and will have at the end of the turn, or when you use its active, has only 2 ammo left. So the second time, you have 0 ammo left. If you don't have ammo recharges, it won't get any more ammo.
What about when you recur it? When you recur it, does the counter?
When you recur it, it will get back its ammo.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
that's the thing, is it's a little confusing on that front because it's text crunch. I know it's definitely not Mystic's fault. It's just text crunch. So there, I guess we explained it to people. So it does indeed work when you recur it. Who wants to go first on this one? Nunez, I pick you.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know what deck this is like, what cards this is meant to synergize with, but if I'm looking for like from the fish perspective, I don't know if I would play this because it's killing all of your other fish as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a specific fish pirate deck that does not care about taking damage on other units, like some sort of mid-range deck that can actually take the hits. But if we're talking about like the swarmy fish deck, this is kind of counterproductive to what you want to do.
If you want to be really gross with this, slap a soul capture cam on it, and then you could just snapshot the entire board. Just get a copy of every unit on the whole board.
Cam, let me look that up.
It lets you create a 1 cost copy of a unit whenever it damages it.
Oh my god, yeah, this is gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, so that's a potential fun use for that.
Yeah, that's like use the active, now your hand is full and you're discarding everything because you have 13 cards in hand.
Pretty much. Em, do you have any thoughts on this?
My first thought with it was giving it Deadly Nightshade. So that has Deadly, and that's just 2 board clears.
Oh yeah, that's also very nice.
Yeah, the thing I think in general that's gonna hold like this sort of fish pirate theme back is that they don't have a hero that supports them anymore, because Victric is all about action spamming now. So having these units that can like clear the board and are more controlling isn't like, yeah, they're not going to synergize with your hero.
Yeah, if this is maybe all other characters, it could maybe help Ash out a little bit. And I guess it could still help Ash if you're not using it as a board clear. I don't know. Grief, what's your thoughts?
This first thought wasn't actually fish or stuff like that. Rage effects. This A triggers rage effects, and B helps out in one of the only heroes that is actually supporting this kind of card, Chariot KM.
Yeah.
Because every time you activate your actives, Chariot gives you board HP, and oh yeah, I'll ping everything. I'll ping every single unit on the board. My units will probably always survive due to Chariot gaining more, giving them more HP. It's already mine, so it only costs 1 if she changes into a mine form, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of support for that specific play style of active matters in KM already, so that's pretty fine. And if you have any form of rage shenanigans you want to pull off, this is one of your best bets.
So yeah, we'll see where this goes, and hopefully we get maybe a couple more of these ammo synergy cards to build out something interesting for the Osegarth Pirates. Dia did a great job on those arts. Okay, another Blackrift card. We got 2 in the submitted this week. The Dimension Rip is a 3-drop neutral action from Blackrift. Banish all cards in both players' hands that didn't start in their decks. If none were banished, draw 2 cards. So this is the control-y side of Blackrift. Blackrift is kind of at odds with itself. It has this, if it didn't start in your deck, it cares about that in some way. This way is aggressive. It wants to get rid of those things. In particular, this shuts down Pearlmaw, and that has a lot of players angry. Discuss. Grief, you can start this one.
I don't really care too much if it makes Permo players angry, not because I don't like Permo players, because I also love Permo, but Heldem had to deal with certain shit for almost 1.5 years to not have an actual viable or existing level of creature.
Still has to deal with some stuff, so.
But on the other hand, you have a pretty generic draw 2 for 3 and a way to potentially pull it off. But let's be honest, every damn deck creates a certain amount of cards from outside of the game. Sure, we're not drafting anymore, but Mir'aj gets a card in hand. Victric gets a card in hand. Ash gets a card in hand. Permo. Only that does not. Only
Bullock does not.
Bullock does not, and Heldem. Those are the 3 only heroes that don't care about this card because they're not creating cards in hand. Natively. Heldem has an equipment deck which creates cards in hand. Bullock has token spammers and stuff like that that can actually create also cards in hand, and so on and so forth. This card is always usable move cards. It's a good tech card, and the occasional use where it's actually only drawing you 2 cards, it's also not that bad. Best part about it, it can be played in Eagleless.
Yeah. And so yeah, I think this is good, showing off the non-native effect of Blackrift. And that's why I insisted Aiden let me put this in the realm, because it also has a giant portal in the background, which it's the realm of portals. Nunez, you got any thoughts on it?
I think Griff said everything. Like, this this is always gonna have at least some use, because even if you don't banish anything, you still draw 2 for 3, which is okay. It's good. It can banish some specific cards, like tokens they want to have in hand, or like even some hero rewards they want to get rid of. Like, say if you're playing against Ash, and you know that she's gonna give the order next turn, you can just get rid of it right now.
You can rescind the order.
Yeah.
Empty, you have anything else, or is that good?
Not really. Basically, everything's been said.
Okay. You get to go first next time. You excited?
Sorta.
Okay. Right makes right. Some more right cards. Will Birther is a 3-drop mind 1/1 fairy from Degenesis with flying. At the end of turn, create the Awakening in your hand. The Awakening is a 0-drop right with exhaust any number of friendly units. Create a Mindborn with that much attack and HP. A Mindborn is a fairy specter with flying, and whenever you play a right, ready this. So this is building up possibly for a Degenesis Rights Matter deck. So, okay, that is a rare that probably could have fit on a common. We have to deal with the text crunch. But I understand there's a lot of text on this, so maybe push it up to a rare. This probably in over Budding Spire. I think it's doing a little bit better in the polls, but we'll see.
Are there any other rights besides the Awakening?
The recently released Spirit of Plenty. So this is probably built for a rights deck.
Okay.
The thing is, it's in they're in 2 different affinities, so we'll see.
Yeah.
You get to go first.
Yeah, so I basically have like 2 big problems with this. So one is that it's like this snowball unit that's incredibly vulnerable for 3 mana.
Yeah.
Like a 1/1 fire is not going to live very long, and since it triggers at the end of the turn, if they remove it, you just get nothing, which is really bad. The other thing is, as you said, this is in Mind. Well, the only other right we have in the game is in Spirit, which sort of makes the deck like a bit inconsistent. I think making it so that these rights were in like 1 affinity would have been a good choice.
Well, it's not a 1/1 because when it creates it, it sets its attack and HP to the number of units used.
No, the Willbirther itself is a 1/1.
Oh yeah, the Willbirther. Yeah, you're right. Okay. So yeah, it is still vulnerable.
If it was like summon an active like Commander Per, so that you couldn't get blown out too badly, I think that would be a good change.
That would have been cool, maybe.
I feel like this is just really slow. Like,
yeah,
you have to wait until the next turn to create the Mindborn. You also have to exhaust a lot of units, and then you also have to wait another turn for it to act, unless you have another right to make it ready.
Yeah,
I feel like it's just a super slow chain of events that just gives you like a kind of big flyer.
I know a lot of people were geeking out when they saw the art, getting a bunch of Seb McKinnon vibes. I don't know if any of you know that artist from Magic the Gathering, but this is Ghost Wheel did the bet. Like, it looks like something Seb would have done, and he's a big Seb McKinnon fan. So I love the art here. I definitely think this needs some tweaks because this is not going to get in as a rare. It's just not. Reese, what's your thoughts?
I like the art. I don't really care about the effect, and I feel like it's A, too slow, and too easy to shut down. And if you're actually getting it off, since you will probably exhaust your own Mindborn, which will happen when you're playing Awakening, which will then ready them again, and because you're playing a right, but overall, meh.
But yeah, I want to see this card in. I want to see it in after it's been workshopped. So that's my thoughts on it. Okay. Let's talk about some DeBello stuff.
Yay.
The Search for Elysium is a 4-drop neutral quest from DeBello. Put this in your deck 4th from the top. If you played this 4 times this game, set the card cost of all your cards to 1. Neat. So this is like Scour. You get this, you get a couple Scouring Orbs off. That's what you want to be doing with this. Am I right, Grief?
I think we talked about that card last week.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Because
Let's maybe say a couple notes on it.
as I said, this gives me good approach of the second sun vibes.
Yeah.
But we don't have scroll rack, so sadly it is. So yeah, we'll probably be using it with mass scouring and stuff like that. But the thing is, for the deck that you want to play around it, is it really worth it to reduce the cost of all your cards to 1?
Yeah.
Sure, in Dragons, which mass scout a lot, this could be pretty useful for. Outside of that,
yeah, I don't know. I think, was this on your picks, Nunes? Are we on?
Yeah, it's my pick. I picked the most janky cards I could see in the subreddit.
Yeah.
The stupid fun cards that make you think, how can I make this work?
Yeah, so we already kind of talked about this last week, but what do you have to add to that, basically?
First of all, does this work in multiple copies?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it does. Doesn't seem to be any limitation on you can only have one copy of this card on your deck.
I would hope it does. So we'll see.
It could be a way to trigger it faster, because when I saw the thing, I thought of the old Starlight Pendant, which made everything 0. This makes everything 1. It's a very powerful effect, but I don't know if there are enough enablers for you to actually trigger this effect right now.
And it's just you have to eat 4 turns on the way down.
Yes, right? You also have to basically waste 4 turns. Yeah. You have to pay 16 mana over 4 turns for you to get the effect.
I guess there's a way to do it.
Maybe some fog decks could stall long enough for this to actually work.
Yeah, Vrick Fog. And Vrick would love the end goal because it gives him help.
Yeah, the end goal for some big actions is just insane.
Grief, did you have a new idea?
Yeah, Grief looks like he has some idea in his mind. Just looking at his face right now, he's like, I found out something about this.
Envy, what's your thought about this card? Because I think I found a deck for it.
Okay, I haven't found the deck for it. I think it's a bit too slow.
Mm-hmm.
My best thought would be an action spam Vrick deck where you run maybe some expensive draw cards so you can get some good value out of it.
Bring back Rare Fate, basically.
You guys, have you actually paid attention to the leaderboard recently?
No, enlighten us.
There is running around a good chunk of Highlander-esque card decks with Pearlmore, which don't really run one-offs as a complete deck, but certain toolboxy one-offs that can be run in that deck. Why? Because the entire deck works around Ibon, which can tutor each player, which at the end of the turn, each player gets to tutor out a card from the deck, but banishes every other copy of it. Ibon as a toolbox card allows you to get multiple answers from multiple game states, but also rewards your opponent for either playing around it or into it. The best thing is all those decks play specific tree-offs, even of Ibon, and you would fit this one also as a tree-off initially to get it off relatively soon. But later on, you can just grab the fourth copy, the one copy or one of those 3 copies into your hand, banish the rest, therefore cutting some unnecessary space from your deck and play it. It will just be slotted onto your 4th card of the deck. End of turn, you're just grabbing it back.
So possibly for Bled Highlander. Yeah, I like that.
And it gives you a lot, and the two cards you're already running in the deck have so many usages that, sure, some of them are a little bit awkward to use, but if all of them cost 1, fuck it. Our entire deck is a toolbox. Why not use it?
So yeah, it marks the spot in the search for Elysium, and yeah, there's a lot of cool fun stuff to do with it.
The one thing I find kind of funny about running this in Perlma is that if you play the 4th copy while you have a bunch of doubloons in your hand, it kills them all.
But does that actually happen? Because I remember when that what's the name?
They
Tinfoil
changed
Truther.
it.
Oh, they
They
changed it,
changed
so
it.
they actually increased the cost now. Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Tinfoil Truther is like the premium Perlma tech now.
Yeah. The balloons are the only special treatment they get is the trigger thingy. Okay, the Keeper of the Balance. I felt really weird about this. Keeper of Balance is a 2-drop neutral 2/2 angel from nowhere in particular with amazing art by Gentle Cat designed by Aiden TP. Ward. Players can't play cards with base cost higher than their max mana. No flying on what is clearly a flying thing. Also, it's in neutral. Okay, I guess that justifies it. This doesn't stop force plays. So your whole peer shenanigans, it's not gonna do anything. Well, it'll do something for the early game. But once Peer can get his game plan off, Peer got his game plan off.
Yeah, like when I saw this card, I wanted to ask you guys, like, when is this actually going to come into play? Because, okay, I guess Attune maybe with on mind, some burst mana gain cards, but like this is just seems so incredibly niche against Mind in particular.
Yeah.
Or I guess glowstones maybe.
Yeah, so Grief, you want to explain the new problems that have rose up in the recent meta with Peer and I guess to a lesser extent Spirit of Plenty?
Let's basically talk about the cards that are actually hit by it, then corner cases of force play. Against Permo, which is hyper ramp, against Spirit of Plenty, which is hyper ramp, against Worm, which is hyper ramp. No, Worm actually increases the max mana. But yeah, it is basically a hyper ramp answer, or answering stuff like Glitzmelon from a plate via KM and so on and so forth, where you're basically trying to ramp higher than you're capable of playing cards, which is nifty. And
oh yeah, against KM, I forgot KM reduces the cost with the mind thing. Yeah, this would be actually a thing.
This is a neat little interaction for those cards or decks. Sure, it's a tech card overall. Problem is though, force play cards. We have an engine problem where force play doesn't really fall into casting, if that will ever be revisited, or if we actually have to hard block stuff, and I don't know if we can actually do that to prevent free casting, then we should probably add that to it, because in that case it will be more relevant. Since Peer is the only card that, and we had a discussion, Peer is a card that would be banned in a game like Duel Masters, and they have actually a Peer card banned as the first card on the ban list in Duel Masters, and that game is notorious for free casting and reducing cost. And Peer would be too strong for that. Because it can grab any action in your deck that costs 5 or less, which on its own sounds extremely powerful, and I would be fine with it on a 9-cost mana unit. Problem is though with Peer, it does the same thing on a summon, on an active, and with Ward on top of it. Which is why Peer is a little bit too strong.
And he found himself on the painful end of the Nerf hammer this week, probably. I don't know which one, but it will get nerfed somehow.
Yeah.
So we'll see. MD, do you have any thoughts on this?
The having wings in the art and it not having flying does bother me a little bit.
Yes, it does.
I think this has, like, at least right now, there's enough things that this stops that I think it's sort of worth running. The one interesting card that this counters as well is Plasma Sploosh. It has a base cost of 15 mana.
Yeah. Never getting that off. And I guess if Imperial Currency ever becomes relevant again, but it's probably not going to happen.
Actually, I think Action Spam already runs it.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't follow it. Okay.
Oh, the poor dwarven lad that plays against this card.
Oh, yeah.
Dwarves don't like this. This is bad for dwarves. Okay. One last one, folks. We ran a little long this week. It's fine. The Lost Huntsman. This is a redo of the thing by Acoustic. It was in everything from a card jam. We've been trying really hard to get this art in, apparently. It is a 5-drop Spirit 3/3 Spectre from Swiatlo with whenever this enters the graveyard, pay 1 to deal 3 damage to a unit, and if that kills, return this to your hand. So we get a 6-drop recurable lightning bolt thingy. Well, fireball in this game. Neat. It's a Spectre. Kind of relevant. Oh, when it's enters the graveyard.
Yeah, it's when it enters the graveyard. I thought more for like the discard synergy than actually playing it and having it die.
Yeah. So if we get some more with some discard engines, this could potentially be interesting.
Say that spirit discard 3 to draw 3. You can pay a little bit more mana to just clear the board and get your card back to hand.
Yeah. So this is actually a cheaper fireball if you can proc it with some additional stuff to make it work. Huh. Yeah, I missed the enters the graveyard thing. That's important to read. It's important to read cards, guys. Grief, are you excited about this?
I like its interaction with Spook Blast. Since you play Spook Blast, it enters the graveyard. Now draw this later on. Discard it via the effect of Spook Blast, return Spook Blast to hand, deal 3 damage to a unit by paying 1, return this back to hand.
That's scary.
That's pretty high potential when it comes to damage. I would probably be more enticed to upvote it if it would cost 4 mana, so I would actually wouldn't feel bad if I'm actually playing it as a unit. Cost 5 mana for a 3/3 that basically only does something when it dies, and I could actually play it in a mill deck better or in a self-discard deck better than on board. Yeah, I don't know why that 5 cost is on top of it.
At 5 mana, I don't see this ever being actually played. If its use is going to be for the discard synergy.
This does actually do some potentially cool stuff with maybe a neat little board wipe effect with flips and underlabs Enigma. If you want to go for a jank combo like that, you could create a 1-drop 1/1 version of this and then totally go to town with some hot fries and just that's like a repeatable board wipe. That's pretty scary.
Personally,
1 for everything you kill, but who cares at that point?
Oh yeah, it would be like you pay 2 mana to do 3 damage repeatedly.
Yeah.
Because like you have to pay 1 for it and then another 1 to actually deal the damage.
Yeah. It's a little machine gun with
it's a repeatable fireball.
Yeah.
Ooh. Vmnunes, do you remember the Burial Spirit self-mill deck?
Yeah. Oh god. Oh god.
Because every time you milled a card, you created a copy of that milled card in your hand and discarded it.
So yeah, this is...
So you in that deck you mill this and then you can cast 2 fireballs.
Exactly, for 2 mana, deal
for
6
2 mana.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would play this on self-mill. Thank you. Please upvote this card. Well, if it's 4 mana at least.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe a little bit of tuning in this could be good. Definitely.
Yeah. I don't know.
Corner case combo tech.
I think a bit too much of this card's power level is put into that discard effect because this is very strong. Like, being able to fireball for 1 mana anytime you discard something or anytime you mill this is really, really good. And then like the added value, like if you attack with like the Knight card that makes each player discard a card each time it attacks, and then you can like kill off one of their blockers beforehand. Like, it just seems really, really strong.
Yeah, and bear in mind they're going to have a 3-drop a lot of the time. So like this it's basically this most of the time will just go back to your hand. So
like
Yes.
offsets all losses from a lot of discard cards.
I feel like the 5 mana cost is almost irrelevant because you're almost never going to play this. Like you're just gonna use it as discard fodder.
Yeah. Grief, you had a new idea? Maybe? I don't know.
How can we break this in a fusion deck?
Some card that
Get some like weird unit that has an on-kill trigger and then discard it. So you could run this with like Fearmonger, and then every time you use its discard effect, you also add a bunch of like junk to your opponent's hand.
If you can pull
or
it,
like
I doubt this is going to happen, but you could give it deadly permanently via some mass maybe, and then you could kill everything with it all the time.
I would probably love if this would be on a Jester.
Mhm.
Because Jester would hit the graveyard, create a copy of itself,
Yeah.
mill you more. Brute?
no, but the thing is, if this kills, it goes back to hand. You have to play it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about brute, but it wouldn't work. Like it wouldn't come back to play.
It's just
Wait, isn't there a card that has an entomb that brings it back to your deck?
I'm pretty sure there are.
chicken.
Or creates a copy of it in your deck?
I think there is. I don't remember now.
Ooh. Okay, you could put Lizatep Soul Clamor on this.
Yes! I have a 13 cost card that I'm only ever going to use the discard.
Oh, this is good.
It's gonna give you a lot of HP and EXP.
Yes.
Oh god.
Okay, so we will see. I'm gonna stop the share. Gonna go to closing remarks. This was fun. This is an interesting week. Thank you, as always, to Grief for being my co-host.
And for blabbering a lot.
And for blabbering and for being awesome. Thank you to Empty Folder. Nice having you on, as always. And thank you very much to our special guest, Vmnunes. It's great to have you back. It's great to have you on the show. It was really fun.
Thanks, man. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I hope to really come back to Collective like this next week, probably.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
good.
I
I would
think-
love to see some more stuff from Mir'aj.
Yeah.
Just whatever else suits your fancy.
Especially since Vujek really wants to work with you.
Yeah. The new player. We'll introduce you guys. So anyways, thank you guys so much. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remind me why I'm doing this. Keep playing the game and executing your right to vote.
See ya.